Hello, Internet, and welcome to Irregulus. Today, I'd like to continue to talk about Alberta and touch upon the idea that the only pro-environmental policy that you could have is to be pro-Alberta oil. Allow me to explain. The developing world has an increasing thirst for oil, and somebody is going to quench that thirst. Now, your options are to go with Albertan oil that has the highest standards for reclaiming the land that it is being extracted from, or another nation that has lower standards. And even if another country has the same standards that Alberta has, there is no justification then to let those jobs leave from here to there. So when the left and the media and the NDP and the Liberals tell you that it's time we take a stand and we need to be the ones to stand up for the environment, we won't actually be helping anything. The oil is going to be pulled out of the ground somewhere. You have the choice to either let it be here and let us work for it and let us have a thriving economy because of it, or you let the duty of removing it fall onto other nations with lower standards than we have, or at the very least, you let jobs from here leave. There is no moral, environmental argument to be made to get rid of Albertan oil. Even if all of Canada was able to be weaned off of oil, which at this current time is impossible, but even if you could, there is no reason for Alberta to stop extracting it. There is no reason for Canada to give up being one of the world's largest exporters of energy. Because we actually give a damn. We have the strictest pipeline regulations and we have the safest methods of extraction. There is no moral argument against Canadian oil. This argument, by the way, has nothing to do with whether or not climate change is happening, or whether or not global warming is contributed to by humans, or whether or not we will be able to do anything to stop it. Because we in Canada do not have the influence or the power over other nations to tell them what to do and what kind of environmental policies to have. It is more logical and more beneficial for the environment to have us handle oil extraction and become strong trade partners with developing nations so that we can help them in the safe disposal of waste of such products, and also with development of technologies to make use of these products more environmentally friendly. So removing oil production from the Canadian economy is only going to cost people jobs. Now, the argument against that point is that new technologies are going to be forced to be made in defiance of the lack of oil, which is a fine idea. However, where is the money for this funding going to come from when you have as high of unemployment as we do right now, when we aren't able to make the same kind of money off of royalties as we were? It is better for us to produce oil and funds from that be allocated to new developments than to remove the amount of money that we were able to make and try to pretend like we can come up with another solution afterwards. Because in the meantime, all we are doing is sacrificing people's jobs. For example, there's a small town in Alberta called Hanna, and it has completely closed down because the coal mine there has been shut down. All of these people had to pack up and leave. All these people that were coal miners that don't have other sellable skills now, you've ruined these people. You have ruined this town. You have literally sacrifice this town and many others like it for your ideology. Is it worth it? Does it make you feel good enough? That's not to say I'm the hugest fan of coal, but I would rather money be put towards advancing scrubber technology in coal power plants and being allowed to continue to do that since the infrastructure is already here, and keeping all these people employed, and work towards a slower and more manageable transition to alternative energy. The transition that they're trying to force on us right now is irresponsible and is ideologically driven and has no justifiable positions. So there is no environmental argument, there is no ethical argument, and there is no moral argument to be made to be against Albertan or Canadian oil production. The only argument to be made is it makes you or it makes the party leaders feel good when they go to the jerking circles at the UN. And I'm sorry if it makes me sound callous or like I don't care, but I really don't care what politicians think of me when I put on my welding beanie and to go to work to make a decent living for myself. And I don't care what the people at the UN think of Canada when we have a advanced, productive energy sector and they turn up their noses because it's unpopular among the other kids in the club to have something that is considered dirty like an energy sector. These people need a reality check, and instead of turning up their nose or refusing or ignoring oil production, they should embrace it and do what they can to make it the cleanest and best that they can in their respective countries. That is the responsible and environmentally most beneficial thing that they can do. That is what they should be proud of. That is something that they should be able to take to the UN and gloat about, not about how they're destroying jobs and removing vast amounts of industry from their countries.